Well, another driving video. It's August 3rd, 2025. It's been almost exactly a year since I was watching the Paris Olympics and decided I wanted to get into slalom. I've been, I've said in some previous videos about my experience trying to get a boat. In fact, I think my first one was when I was driving out to get buy the boat from Mark Stevens. Um, that was in February. That boat turns out to not be that great for me. It's 4 meters long as opposed to the current standard, which of 3.5 meters, which I'm not sure that really makes that big a difference. But the stern is just too big for me to get underwater, at least at my current skill level and strength, which means I couldn't do pivot turns, which means I really could not turn the boat very well at all. And that made it very difficult to paddle. Also, I think it was pretty tippy. I'm not sure that's true. Maybe I was just not used to that style of boat. Anyway, I had a very hard time paddling it. So I really wanted to find a new slalom boat. And so I looked around and I posted on Facebook, and there were some WhatsApp groups, and everywhere I could, Facebook Marketplace, and everywhere I could think to look to buy a used boat. I was getting close to maybe just giving up and buying a new boat. At the last race of the year, one of the other racers, Briggs, told me about a listing he saw on Facebook from Bethesda, Maryland, for a 2013 Galasport Sonic Boom, which actually was the model of boat that Bert Hinckley told me was the oldest slalom boat that I should consider. That was apparently, I guess, the first one that was considered good enough by modern standards. And it turned out that we had to be driving down to South Carolina anyway to do some chores related to Heather's father. So I texted with them and decided when I was driving down in July, we would stop by and try out the boat. We ended up doing that. I also was in communication with a woman named Sophie from is it Cavella? I think it's Caliva. Not sure. River School in Bethesda or near Bethesda. And she is the slalom person at that store. They are a dealer for Galasport. And she was going to let me try out her Galasport Caipi. I'm not sure that's the right way to pronounce it. But that was the boat she recommended for me. And so I could try out hers. And if I liked it, then I could buy a new one. And it would take 3 months to get it. So we drove down to Bethesda. I tried out the Sonic Boom. I actually went to Lock 6 on the Potomac River, where there are some permanent gates and there's a little bit of Class 2 water, and met my friend Chris Glazner there with his son, and so my kids were there, and everyone swam and boated a little, and I ended up buying the boat. It's really beat up. I paid $250 for it. It's really beat up. It's got a lot of patches on it. It leaks. The seat is too narrow for me. I'd have to replace the seat. I don't know how, I would have to do some work to try to figure out where the leaks are coming from and fix them up. But, at the time, it was the only boat that I knew that was available that wasn't brand new. And we did that. We picked that boat up on a Sunday, and although Sophie had said she was going to be available on Sunday, in fact, the way it worked out, she wasn't. I think because we weren't going to be there early enough in the morning for her. So I could meet her on Monday, but staying another day in Bethesda didn't really seem to make any sense to us. So we bought the Sonic Boom and put it on the roof and proceeded to drive to the U.S. National Whitewater Center in Charlotte, where between Charlotte and one day we had to go to Greenville to do the chores we needed to do. We spent 2.5 days at the Whitewater Center, and everyone had a blast, and we did some rafting, and I did a little kayaking, which was great, and we did ropes courses and zip lines and deep water solo climbing, and it was great. Had a wonderful time. The day after, we decided not to do age group nationals. I decided not to do age group nationals, even though I really wanted to, because the race was on Saturday morning, was going to be done around noon or something like that, and the kayak cross was going to be on Sunday, and the kids had camp Monday morning. So even if we'd just done the slalom race, then we would have had to finish the race, hop in the car, drive nonstop for a day and a half to get home to Boston on Sunday night, and then the kids would rush off to camp the next morning, and there was some preparation we hadn't done for that, and it was going to be too much. And also, I didn't know what Heather and the kids were going to do while I was doing my training runs on the river, so I would feel pressured that they were bored or unhappy, and it just didn't seem like fun. Whereas the Whitewater Center was totally the right choice because everyone was involved, everyone had a great time. The kids want to go back for summer camp next year. That sounds great to me, because if they're at summer camp for a week, I can paddle on the artificial course for a week. So all in all, great decision. Anyway, I didn't go to age group nationals, but the day after, or maybe 2 days after I bought this sonic boom in Bethesda, because I had registered for the race, I got added to a WhatsApp group chat for the age group nationals race, and someone posted a 2024 Galasport Caipi boat for sale because their teenage son had outgrown it. And it turns out that this teenage son lives in Connecticut, goes to Proctor in New Hampshire, and races in the NESS races. So I raced against him this spring in when he was using this boat. I didn't meet him, so I don't know who he was, but anyway, so I texted the guy and I'm like, well, this is really ironic because, I'm interested in your boat. Yesterday, I would have been really interested in your boat. I told him, look, if no one buys it and it comes back with you to Connecticut, let me know. Well, it turns out no one bought it. He came back to Connecticut. We texted back and forth. I tried the sonic boom again in Spy Pond, where I do my training. And although it was great in that I can get the stern underwater, I can do pivot turns. I'm not that good at them yet. I'm actually kind of terrible at them, but I can get better. It's uncomfortable. The seat's too narrow, which I could replace the seat, but it leaks. And it just, I don't know. It was going to take a lot of work. So I was like, you know what? I can afford a decent boat. And actually, the mother of the kid I bought the sonic boom from said she was happy to take this boat back if I could get it back to Bethesda. I said, well, I'm in Boston now. She says, oh, well, you know what? My mother lives in Portsmouth. You could return it there. So maybe I'll return it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. So I drove out to Sturbridge and met the parents of this kid from Connecticut and tried out the boat and decided to buy it. It was $1,000. At the very end, we noticed it actually also has a leak. It's got a leak in the stern. Water dribbles out of the stern when you hold it up vertically and dribbled into the boat, which is how I noticed that it was leaking, because there was water in the boat. Hopefully that will be an easy fix, but it is much more comfortable. The seat is big enough. The boat is otherwise in very good condition. So I now own my fourth slalom boat. There's the Millbrook River, Millbrook Creek, Millbrook boats. I never remember. Yeah, Millbrook boats that I bought from Mark Stevens. There's Amy Hunt's original 4-meter slalom boat from when she was a teenager that she gave to Carolyn, another NESS racer whose daughter used it until she outgrew it or stopped paddling or whatever. And then Carolyn gave it to me for my kids. I don't know if my kids will ever use it. It's really old and in pretty ratty shape. I have that one. I have the sonic boom that I just bought that's also in really ratty shape. And now I have this one. So I've gone from 0 slalom boats to 4 slalom boats. I don't know which ones I'm going to try to sell or get rid of. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But hopefully this is the end of my slalom boat shopping for a long time. I'm going to try to fix the leak in the stern of this one. I'm texting with Kaz, John Kazmierczak, the Millbrook Boats guy, and I think he's going to advise me on it. And I can unsubscribe from all the Facebook groups that I joined to try to find a used boat. And this will be my boat. And my next slalom race will be, I think it's October 4th. It's early October on the Esopus in Otis, New York. And then there's one a couple weeks after that on the Farmington, somewhere in Massachusetts. And that'll be the season. And I'm going to train. Oh, and in other news, I have signed up for coaching, remote coaching by video with EJ. He created a coaching website, and I don't know if I'm his first client, but I'm one of the early ones. So I'm going to be training in this boat. EJ is going to be critiquing my technique on by video. Hopefully he'll give me some training. I'm sure he'll give me some, some workout and training guidance if I ask for it. And here we go. So that's the update. Boat's on the roof. I'm driving home, and I hope this one works out.